Oh, yes! Yes! I don't know what's going on anymore. I was just peacefully sleeping, minding my own business, and then boom! Out of nowhere, we get hit with a flood of content in a single day. A brand new episode of Helluva Boss that, no exaggeration, might be the best we've seen in a long time. An announcement for new episodes of the amazing digital circus coming this December. It's like, what? So much happening. But today we're focusing on Helluva Boss, and oh my god, I am living for this. Like a bolt of lightning out of the blue, they dropped a new episode on us, and get this! It's not just about demon relationship drama this time. No, they've packed this one with actual plot. I'm talking big stakes. Deep lore. Lore. And guess what? We even get Satan himself. Plus, nods to Lucifer. Oh, and it's... Oh. Honestly, if I had to sum it up, this might just be one of the best episodes of Helluva Boss in a while. Scratch that, ever. And sure, I'll admit, I love the sitcom-style episodes with the Imp crew doing their thing, but this is on another level. We've got the 7 deadly sins, a full-on infernal trial, and did I mention Satan? It's got everything. Lore, drama, even the cringe is kept to a minimum. Alright, let's dive into what Vivzy and her team have blessed us with this time. Oh, and by the way, this episode is literally about a trial. Ironic, right? As always, I'm Dee. And I really hope you'll hit that subscribe button right now because this channel is in desperate need of your support. Pretty please? Alright, let's jump straight into the depths of hell. The episode kicks off with a heated conversation between Stella and her brother Andrealphus. They're ranting about how awful Stolas is, blaming him for throwing everything away for, his relationship with Blitzo. But then Stella lets something slip, that Stolas gave his grimoire to a lowly imp. Andrealphus is shocked, because apparently handing over such a powerful artifact and allowing access to the human world is a huge no-no in hell. And that gives Andrealphus a wicked idea, overthrowing Prince Stolas of the Goetia. But honestly, can we talk about Stella for a second? Once again, she's portrayed as dumb as a bag of rocks. There's just nothing redeemable about her. Zero personality. All she's got going for her is her bird-like beauty, which, let's be real, Andrealphus seems a little too interested in. Like, buddy? You good? It's giving creepy vibes, but hey, it's hell after all. Right after that, we cut to Blitzo, who's interviewing some wannabe interns for IMP. Of course, this scene barely starts before chaos hits. The team gets ambushed by what looks like some kind of demon police squad. And let me tell you, they look like straight-up Dementors from Harry Potter. These guys take our heroes down, binding them in chains like it's just another day in hell. Oh, and the demon police? They're apparently hell's version of cherubs. And wow, was that a fun twist? It's the little details like this that make the world building in Helluva Boss so damn enjoyable. That's the moment. All 7 of the deadly sins are here. Oh, mother of Shabnigora. I've been waiting for this for
12 years of it! In Azkaban!
What is it with me and all these Harry Potter references today? Finally, we get to see the sins in all their glory. Fans have been speculating for ages about what they'd look like, how they'd act, and now, boom, they're right here. Sure, we've already met some of them, Daddy Asmodeus, Mommy Beelzebub, and Greedmeister Mammon. But seeing all of them together at the trial of a single imp, absolutely wild, and then there's Satan, holy hell, this guy is the ultimate powerhouse. He's like hell's dark side, the ultimate warlord of the underworld, the kind of ruler you dream of seeing in a show about hell. And the voice? Perfection. The casting choice for him? Spot on. The way he speaks? Commanding, dripping with authority. It's exactly what I hoped for.
Little mice.
And can we talk about the lore? It's pouring out of every detail. Just the door to the courtroom is a masterpiece, adorned with the crests of each of the 7 sins, arranged, theoretically, by rank, and looming above them all, Lucifer. Except he's not there. His throne, the throne of hell itself, sits empty. Why? Because Lucifer is off somewhere, making rubber duckies. I'm not joking. The empty throne feels like a nod to certain Marvel comics, where no demon lord dares call themselves the devil, because the moment they do, every other hell contender tears them to shreds. Here though, it's portrayed differently. And then Satan casually drops this bombshell. He ruled the darkness long before the Golden Angel, aka Lucifer, fell and ended up in hell. What? This one line changes everything. The history of hell just got way deeper, and I am here for it. It's a bit of a bummer that we didn't get to see Lucifer alongside the sins, aside from a few references and that fiery silhouette during Satan's scene. But hey, it's not entirely Vivzy's fault. The issue here is drumroll copyright. Because Hazbin Hotel is under the control of Amazon Prime Video, there are restrictions on which characters can appear in Helluva Boss. Even though both shows are created by Spindlehorse Toons and Vivian Medrano, they have different licensing rights. It's like the whole Marvel copyright mess. Just another odd quirk of intellectual property law. Nothing more, nothing anything less, but honestly, Helluva Boss doesn't need to feature Hazbin Hotel characters to thrive. That said, I can't help but hope that maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, we get a special crossover episode. Imagine all the deadly sins and the King of Hell himself, Lucifer, making a grand appearance. The perfect setup for this? A series finale or some epic showdown between heaven and hell. A moment where everything is on the line and Lucifer finally steps in to show why he's the one on top. Now that would be something worth waiting for. But during the trial, where Lucifer's seat should have been among the other sins, guess what we see instead? A rubber duck wearing a hat that kind of resembles Lucifer's iconic crown. And just to top it off, there's a little sign attached to the duck that reads, "Be back in 5 minutes," covered in cobwebs. Honestly, it's a hilarious touch. Pure Vivzy humor. On top of that, we got a deeper dive into Hell's demon hierarchy. Turns out, Satan isn't just one of the sins. He's their leader. He rules over the sins, who in turn govern the demon world, and he serves as the ultimate judge for those who break Hell's laws. This essentially makes Satan the Natu in Hell's pecking order, right after Lucifer and his family. And is it just me, or does this Satan remind you of the Satan from Vivian's very first animation on her channel way back 11 years ago? The shape of his horns, especially the long ones at the top, looks super similar. It's like an updated nod to her early work, which I think is a pretty clever Easter egg. It's little details like this that make the world of Helluva Boss so much fun to explore. And it seems that with Lucifer acting more like a nominal leader, Lilith staying out of hell for extended periods, and Charlie focusing on helping sinners reach heaven instead of ruling, Satan stepped in to take charge. No wonder he also serves as Hell's ultimate judge. It's like he's carrying all the responsibility that Lucifer shrugged off. And maybe, just maybe, that's why Satan's got anger issues. In the Ring of Wrath, no less. Cue dramatic drum roll. He's so stressed, the poor guy even has his own personal calm down demon. Seriously, so what are our main characters accused of this time? Well, Andre Alphys twists the narrative, accusing them of stealing a Goetia artifact to sneak into the mortal realm, which of course is complete nonsense. The book was given to Blitzer willingly, though let's just say the terms of the agreement are better left unsaid. If you know, you know. If you don't, well, you'll figure it out. But Andre Alphys doesn't stop there. His lies and slander against Blitzer spark outrage from another Goetia demon, making their very first appearance in the series, Vasigo, the oh-so-stylish Spanish-speaking parrot demon. He's furious about Stolas' absence from the trial, but Andre Alphys brushes it off, claiming Stolas is too broken to face the heinous criminal Blitzer. Yeah, right. We all know the real reason Stolas isn't here. It's because Andre Alphys doesn't want him interfering and ruining his little scheme. So much for moral protection, huh? Andre Alphys doesn't stop there. He goes as far as accusing Blitzer of hiring an assassin to take out Stolas, which, as we already know, is a blatant lie. But then, out of nowhere, who shows up? None other than Stryker, the cowboy imp who had previously tried to kill Prince Stolas. The twist? Stryker claims Blitzer did in fact hire him to do the job. Now let's pause for a second because wow! Is that hypocritical coming from Stryker? Remember, this guy has always hated the demon royal family, accusing them of treating imps like dirt. He even looked down on Blitzer for his connection to Stolas, mocking him for his involvement with the Goetia. And yet here he is, outright lying under oath to help a pompous member of that same royal family frame an innocent imp. Stryker buddy, what happened to all that moral high ground you were standing on? Guess that hill wasn't as solid as you made it seem. But here's the real kicker. How is it even possible to lie so openly in front of Satan? I mean, come on, you're demons. Shouldn't there be some built-in lie detection or at least a spell to sniff out falsehoods? This is Satan's courtroom, for crying out loud. It's wild to think that, in hell, of all places, blatant deception like this can fly under the radar. Classic demon bureaucracy, I guess. Sigh. To this wild accusation, Blitzer hits back with the most Blitzer response imaginable. Why would I hire an assassin when I am an assassin? If I wanted him dead, I'd do it myself. And honestly, fair point. But even with Asmodeus and Beelzebub stepping in to defend him, the court declares Blitzer and his team guilty. The punishment? Death. And not just any death, no, they're planning to broadcast the execution live on Hell's version of TV, turning it into a public spectacle to scare off any other low-ranking demons who might dare overstep their place. It's at this moment that Blitzer does something truly selfless. He takes the blame for everything to save his team. He tells the court his crew had nothing to do with it. They were just doing their jobs as imps. He insists the blame lies solely with him. And if anyone should be executed, it's him, not them. This scene is a gut punch, a genuinely tragic and beautifully crafted moment of self-sacrifice. For all his flaws, it's clear Blitzer deeply cares about his team. The man is willing to lay down his life so they can live on. His last words to Moxie? Take care of Luna. Oof. That hit hard. Remember when I said Blitzer was starting to get on my nerves in earlier episodes? Well, these recent episodes have been turning him into a much more complex and redeemable character. This scene? This is proof of his growth. Of course, knowing Blitzer, he could just as easily go back to being an absolute gremlin in the next sitcom-style episode because, well, sitcoms. Damn you, sitcoms! And just when the executioner's axe is about to fall on Blitzer's neck, boom! Stolas bursts in to save the day. Having seen everything unfold on Hell's version of TV, the Prince of the Goetia arrives just in time to set the record straight. He explains what really happened between him and Blitzer, that he willingly gave Blitzer the grimoire, so the imps could travel to the human world. And of course, because this is a musical, Stolas does it all through a song. Damn you, musicals! Stolas' song spins the entire situation into his own genius plan. He frames himself as the mastermind behind sending imps to Earth, portraying Blitzer as nothing more than a bumbling pawn who's been following his orders all along. Naturally, everyone buys it. Even Satan acknowledges the explanation, but not without throwing shade. He calls Stolas a traitor for his actions. Oh, and in a fun little moment during the song, Satan once again mentions that he ruled hell long before Lucifer's fall from heaven. It's such a classic Helluva Boss move, blending high-stakes drama, character dynamics, and some ridiculous yet catchy musical number to resolve it all. And as much as I curse musicals, I can't deny this scene kinda slaps. However, according to Hazbin Hotel, Hell was actually created after Lucifer and Lilith tricked Eve into eating the forbidden fruit. So where does Satan's claim about being Hell's OG ruler fit into all of this? Well, Vivzipop has already cleared it up. Satan's statement is nothing but hot air. It's just him inflating his own ego. Since Lucifer and his family don't actively involve themselves in the management of Hell, Satan essentially runs the place solo. This gives him the freedom to say whatever he wants, and no one is there to challenge him. Maybe his over-the-top speech was all for the benefit of the imps watching on TV, to intimidate them, just like he planned to do with Blitzer's public execution. Or maybe he's just a pathological liar. Who knows? Either way, it's ironic that Hell's top judge is, at his core, a liar. And oh my god, please don't give him some random romantic subplot. Let him stay the true ruler of Hell, the one who actually gets things done. The guy who keeps all the sins in Hell's aristocracy walking a razor-thin line. He was portrayed so perfectly, commanding, terrifying, and utterly badass. Don't change him, I beg you. At first, it seems like Prince Stolas might be the one facing execution. But as it turns out, not even Satan is willing, or perhaps able to go that far. After all, you can't just casually execute a member of Hell's royal elite, especially in a trial as flimsy as this one. Stolas is still a part of the upper demon nobility, royal blood essentially, which makes him untouchable when it comes to the death penalty. However, they do come up with a severe punishment for him. Since Blitz's unauthorized use of the Royal Grimoire has now been exposed to Hell's higher authorities, Stolas is stripped of his power, privileges, and even custody of Octavia for a full century. And because Octavia is still too young to take her father's place and lead the Goetia legions, guess who steps in as her temporary guardian and leader? Yep, Andrealphus. For the next 100 years, he will oversee the legions and essentially hold all the power Stolas once had. In a way, this is a major win for the villain. Even though Andrealphus isn't thrilled that Stolas' punishment is only temporary and not permanent, he still gets what he wanted from the start: control over all of Stolas' resources, status, and influence. And the only person Stolas has left now? Blitz, the same imp who started this whole mess in the first place. When Blitzer, Stolas, and Luna are walking down the road together, you can see the crowd who was watching the trial on TV cheering for Blitzer. Maybe this is a setup for a future storyline, where the lower demons, fed up with their treatment, rise up against the aristocracy. I mean, it's not impossible, but let's be real for a second. Sure, they might scavenge some heaven-forged metal for weapons, but what are their odds against the legions of Hell's nobility, against the entire Goetia family, the 7 deadly sins, and Satan himself? A rebellion might be on the horizon, but a victory? I don't see it happening. No way! Still, it'll be fun to watch them try. Blitzer brings Stolas home, trying to repay him in some small way for saving his life, and with that the episode ends. So what can I say? This episode left me with some of the best impressions I've had in a while. It's a standout, especially when compared to most of the earlier episodes. For once, we're seeing the consequences of the characters' actions, and it's leading to some pretty intense outcomes. We've been waiting for the aristocrats to finally go after Stolas. We've been waiting to see the sins. We've been waiting for more lore about Hell's hierarchy. And in this 11th episode, we got it all. It's enough to make my demonic little heart rejoice. At its core, the episode's main message seems clear. Every action has consequences. And while I loved it, there are still a few downsides worth mentioning. The pacing felt a little rushed in places. I wanted more interaction between the sins, especially Asmodeus and Mammon. The tension between them as 2 of Hell's top demons is so intriguing. Leviathan and Belphegor, meanwhile, were practically just background characters. Sure, it's great that they finally made an appearance, but they felt underused, like they were drawn in just to fill out the scene. And can we talk about Vasego? What a standout! That stylish parrot demon stole every scene he was in. Here's hoping he sticks around and plays a bigger role in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up helping Stolas restore some kind of justice. It feels like his presence in this episode was no accident. Now about Stolas himself, I can't help but feel conflicted. Part of me thought he'd finally break free from his toxic relationship with Blitzer and find someone who could care for him in a healthier way. But hey, ratings are ratings, right? It looks like Vivian is setting up a redemption arc for Blitzer instead of splitting up the show's main pair. Still, their reunion felt a bit forced, like it was stitched together for the sake of moving the plot forward. And let's address the trial itself. Why wasn't Stolas called to testify in the first place? Sure, Andrealphus probably orchestrated that on purpose, but come on, none of the Sins or even Vasago could have tipped him off. It feels like a bit of a plot convenience, asking us to just accept it without question. There are a lot of loose ends here, and that's just a fact. And you know what else? The drama could have hit way harder if Stolas had actually been executed, or if something even more tragic had happened, like a full-blown showdown between Stolas, Vasago, and their father Paimon. Now that would have been an episode worth watching. But let's focus on the good stuff. First off, we finally got to see Belphegor and Leviathan. It's been a long time coming, and their inclusion is a huge treat for fans of Hell's lore. Plus, Blitzer's character development continues to shine. We're finally seeing that he's capable of taking responsibility, and I really hope Vivian keeps putting him through challenges like this to test his growth as a character. And here's the real kicker. The theory I mentioned earlier about Satan being the de facto ruler of Hell, it's confirmed. He's the one running the show, and he intentionally designed MPs to be weak so they'd remain subservient to everyone else. This not only ties neatly into the power dynamics of Hell, but also gives a clever and universe explanation for why Hazbin Hotel's key characters are absent. Besides the whole copyright mess, in conclusion, I'm just ecstatic that Helluva Boss can still deliver the same joy it gave me back in Season 1. When the story, the drama, the characters, and the world building all work together, the show truly shines. It started as a sitcom, but evolved into a demonic soap opera that occasionally went a little overboard. But this episode, it proves how incredible the show can be when all its elements function in harmony, like a finely tuned machine. That's what makes this episode so special, and I'm truly grateful for it. What about you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Fill them up, I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. I'm putting my heart and soul into them. See you next time!